Steve and I had a great time, lunch, and just kind of kicking the tires on where we've been, where we're headed. And here was a question I asked. So if we want to move ahead in growth, maturity, skill levels, moving into our inheritance, heavenly inheritances, what are some of the things that we should be engaging in and engaging with? And so one of the things that is primary for me is learning how to integrate my spirit, soul, and body, my three-part being, into harmony or oneness. A word that makes a lot of sense to me that explains the opposite of oneness is fractured or fracturing, or my three-part being is fractured. In other words, my spirit's here, my soul's doing this, my body's over here. And of course, Psalm 133 says that in unity, and oneness is another word for unity, is where God commands his blessing, life forevermore. And so we want that life mode, that life reality expressed and present, not only in us personally, but in us as a group, corporate expression. So we've probably for 2 months now been focusing on unifying our body, soul, and spirit. We probably won't do this today, but last Saturday in our in-person meeting here in our home, while we're in the throne room, we reached back, gathered up our soul, brought our soul into the same context of where our spirit is. And then we reached back and gathered up our body. And just a couple things there. Someone might say, you can't bring your body into the heavenly places. Well, I don't think that's true. Enoch got carried into the heavenlies. And you say, well, we don't know that for sure, because he was not, for God took him. But we know that for sure about Elijah, because Elisha witnessed Elijah going up in the cloud, in the chariot, in the whirlwind. And so we know he physically went into the heavenlies. And there could be more said about that. But my point for that was to say, I believe, this is just where I'm at right now, I could change my opinion on this, but I feel like this little exercise of bringing our soul and our body into oneness with our spirit, where our spirit man is enjoying fellowship right now. Where's that? In the throne room, seated with Christ in heavenly places, hidden with Christ in God. We bring our soul and our body. I think that this is one of the keys of learning how and being capable of translating in the physical. Now we're learning to translate in the spirit realm, and most of us have some kind of experience with that. Joe, you even alluded to that in your story earlier, where you took your group to Missouri, I think it was, to visit a little boy. And so we're practicing that in the spirit realm, and I think we've got some stories that are noteworthy and prove the efficacy of this practice. But the next thing will be moving into it physically. And especially if there's a disruption on the national, global, political, economical fronts in the secular world, this will have to be, I believe, and will become one of our big skills to learn how to continue fellowship and beginning to be a corporate governing factor in the world, even if there's a disruption in the natural world. I think we will obviously do more of this, because I think that's more center stage to what we in this new age are going to be called to do. That's, in other words, living in the heavenly places. You might remember we did that when we went to Ringgold, and that was amazingly powerful, because we got treasure map clues for when we put boots on the ground, and it turns out it worked out strikingly similar to what we saw when we visited in the Spirit. We also did that, remember, a year and a half or two ago when we went to Burma and to the mountain, spoke down over the children's orphanages, and within a week, unsolicited, we got a video from Holy Spirit being poured out on one of the orphanages. And so I do believe this is part of Psalms 2, where God says, ask of me and I will give you the nations. And whereas in the past we always thought we had to go with a flight ticket, we're now finding we can do it from our sofa. So that's awesome. Then Jesus upgrades this a little bit in the Gospels when he says, go therefore and make disciples of the nations. Again, we thought we had to go there and set up some kind of ministry base. But if we can begin to go like Steve, you went to Nepal and called forth Krisaki and began to call forth the callings of the Lord upon him, set him in place to be a spiritual man of God in the region. I do believe we're beginning to discover our true heavenly inheritance. So I think we'll do this quite a bit more. It's part of who we are as an ascended life people.